Hi friends. So I'm getting a weird message on my YouTube telling me I need to change my orientation, and orientation is locked. So I'm going to just check and see if I can see if that fixes it. And nope, orientation is locked. This is so weird. This is not like my normal. So I'm going to end. I don't want to end this video because I have this link out. So, hi everybody. This is Stamp with Teah, and I have no idea why I'm having this issue. I don't normally have this issue. This is YouTube. I set it up the way I normally do, and here we are. So I guess I'm going to set up this video in, well, I guess I'm going to unlock that. All right. And I'm going to try this one more time. Nope, it's locked. Okay, when I set it up, I must have set it up and thought I had it right, but I obviously didn't. So, hi. And I'm wondering if I can, okay, I'm going to try to ignore, there's a whole bunch of messages coming through on my phone now. So this is turning into a little bit of a show. Let's see if I can hit my do not disturb. Yep, there we go. And I'm back. 2 minutes in. I am so sorry for that. This is Stamp with Teah. Not normally that chaotic to begin with. I am Teah Woodward. I'm located in Richland, Washington. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And today I am here to demonstrate 3 cards. So you're going to see a whole bunch of product today, and that's not the point of the demonstration. The point of the demonstration is I am showing you the Paper Florist Dies. They are a standalone product. They do not have a stamp that goes with them. The reason I am showing these to you is I chose, starting a few months ago, to, as my thank you gift for a purchase of $35 or more in my online store, I send out 3 make and takes, including the envelopes. Everything is pre-cut, pre-scored, pre-die cut. I've done everything except stamping for you. I've even tied the bows. Today, what I'm showing you are the kits for September. So these are the kits. You get all 3 of these, and there's a bajillion pieces in these, so you'd be really glad to have somebody else cut them out for the first time that you do them. When I send them out, I send them all tied up and with a tag, with a little thank you tag, because this is my thank you gift for your purchase. So the reason you're going to see a whole bunch of different products is to show you that you can mix and match these dies with what you already have. And that's what I have done, is I have mixed and matched these with what I already have. So I am, let's see, is there anything I need to tell you? We're very close to the end of the month. If you want these make and takes, you need to place your order before the end of the last day of the month. That is the only way to get these make and takes. Next month, they will be a different set. Excuse me. Last month, there were 3 other cards. But I've been featuring these dies, and I just keep reconfiguring them. Last month, I'm trying to remember what, last month I featured the Daisy die, and I made it look different 3 different ways. The month before that, I used one of the other, well, so okay, last month I used this die. The month before, I used this die. This month, I used this die. This one kind of made poinsettias. Next month, I'm going to use multiple dies, and I'm going to use autumn colors. So, little sneak piece of information there. But this video is the tutorial on how to make these cards. So, I am going to go ahead and turn the video or the camera down, and this is going to be really rough with this being in this orientation. But please be patient with me. I'm so sorry it's oriented wrong. We will just do the best that we can. Thank you. Okay. When I set it up, I guess I need to just double check and make sure. It says I'm live up there, but I'm going to just double check and make sure all my links are working. That one is. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that one up so that I can see any comments that show up. And then I am going to there we go. We are live. What a rough start to a video. My apologies. I may have to try to edit that out. Okay, I am now going to turn the camera down. Let's see, put this back over so that I can see. I am getting so many, what is going on? Something has happened because I'm getting ads and comments and I don't normally get all of this stuff. All right, so what I want to mention to you really quick before I turn the camera down, I'm spotting that my catalog is sitting over here. If you want to see the dies and you want to see what I'm talking about, in the annual Stampin' Up! Catalog, on page 33 in the upper corner, you can see a picture of the Paper Florist dies being used on a card and on a gift box. And then you can find the actual dies on page 165 towards the back of the catalog. And that shows you all of the dies that are in the collection, how much they are, how big the biggest die is, etc. So that's where to find these at. And again, I'm focusing on telling you that this is the main focus of this video because you're going to see I'm using a lot of other products, and I don't want to confuse anyone or want anyone to think that I'm expecting anyone to make a $500 card. I'm not. My focus is to show you that you can mix these with lots of stuff that you've already got on hand. All right? Okay, so getting my catalog out of the way, setting my dies out of the way, because you're actually going to see me open up what a kit looks like that I send out. And you're going to watch me actually create a kit that a person would receive if they received that as a thank you gift. Ooh, I just felt a die pop off of my magnet here. Caught it, setting that aside safely. And again, I am so sorry for the orientation of this camera. I had to have set that up wrong. And so I am crossing my fingers for this. Here we go. Okay. Get this securely in my holder. And I'm going to have to wiggle this a little bit because you're seeing things that you would not normally see. So I'm going to have to bend this around a little bit. This is crazy. I had to have been in the wrong orientation when I set it up and didn't realize it. Okay, so we're going to start with, this is our first card. And there we go. Now I can see the whole screen. Pull my hair back in a pony. So if you're here, thank you so much for joining me. So sorry for this little beginning hassle. Let's see if hopefully I got all the kinks worked out in the very, very beginning. So it comes in an envelope. Your kit comes in an envelope. Pull it out. And here is all of the bits and pieces that have all been pre-cut for you. In this case, I used, and I'm just going to go over it very quickly, I've used the deckled rectangle dies. I have used the country wreath dies. So I did not use the country wreath. Let's see, I've got to get over here in the camera. I have not used the country wreath stamp set, but I have used the coordinating dies. I have used the timber 3D embossing folder. On the inside of the card, I used a sentiment from the very best occasions. And on the outside sentiment, I used, and a label, I used the brightest glow sentiment, and I can't remember, I can't remember the name of these dies. And then I used this label from the coordinating dies. Okay. Wow, this camera is throwing me off being in this orientation. So I am going to start by, see there's so many pieces. I'm going to start by adhering my card front to my front mat layer. And this actually will go pretty quickly once I get rolling here. I like to use the green glue. It allows me to move things around a little bit. So we've had just a little bit of chaos going on here at our house. We had, over the summer, we had some ant hills in our backyard. And about a week and a half ago, those ants found a way into one corner of one room in the back of the house. So we have had pest control and we have had all kinds of stuff going on here. Lots of people coming and going. Okay, our card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then you just saw me use my bone folder to burnish that crease nice and firmly. I am going to take the two pieces of the wreath. I'm going to take the skinny wreath and I'm going to put a few dots of adhesive on the back in some of the wider areas. Trying not to use too much. Anyway, then, so we've had this whole thing going on with what they're called swarmers. So they were trying to create some new colonies. There were like over 30 of them. So this was they told me today that this was a rather extreme situation. Although we didn't have an extreme amount in the house, it was an extreme amount of swarmers that they said. Swarmers being like the queen. And then yesterday we had black widows show up outside, but still. So yeah, we've just been dealing with some junky stuff. Kind of ready for that to be done. Okay, and then I've adhered those together, and I'm going to go in with my Take Your Pick tool. And I am just going to give a little bit of lift in between. And you don't need to do this, but I like it. I like to create just a little bit of dimension. You could cut some of your mini dimensionals small, even smaller, and put them behind if you wanted to. But I just wanted it to look like leaves that were kind of moving. There we go. Getting there. So we've had that going on, and it's super, super busy time for my husband at work, and he's having to work a bunch of split shifts to accommodate some volunteer groups, and so our schedule is just totally bonkers right now. Okay, so I've kind of got the look that I was looking for here. I just wanted this kind of lifted look on my wreath. And I'm going to adhere my wreath in this upper portion right here. I'm just going to go ahead and just put her down. And I don't need to put glue all the way around, just in a few spots. Oh, but I didn't mean to put that glue right on the top of my desk though. Let's see. Turn this until I find the right way that I like it. I kind of like that right there. I've kind of got equal distance here and here. Just give that a little squish. All right. Turn over some of my pieces here. The next thing I am going to do is, and the reason I'm not, I didn't already have all this separated, I wanted you to literally see what it looked like when you took out your kit, if you were to receive this kit from me as a thank you. All right, so now when we go to make a poinsettia, I'm going to use mini glue dots, but you could easily use your adhesive. And I am going to, there's, in this particular kit, for each flower, there's 1 large and 2 small flowers. So I'm going to put a mini glue dot on the back in the center of one of the small flowers. And I am going to offset it on top of one of the other small flowers, and then I'm going to put a mini glue dot So sorry for the orientation of this video. It's really bugging me. Let's see here. And just about like that. So now I've created a flower. I'm going to go ahead and create my second flower at the same time. It's just faster to me to do it all at the same time. And I might offset it differently this time. Maybe. Trying to make sure that I'm in the camera here for you. Because of the orientation and because of the buttons on my phone, the holder for my phone is basically over the screen, so I'm having a difficult time seeing how much you can see me. So I'm praying that you can see me better than I can see that you can see me. Hope that makes sense. All right, second flower made. Ta-da! All right. We are ready now to, I am going to use mini glue dots to adhere a couple of leaves to the back of one of the flowers. I like mini glue dots. They're strong, they do a great job. Let's see. There we go. So there is one. And then I just have one leaf left over to put on the back of the other flower. You see how fast this is all going together, right? Because everything's already been cut out for you. Okay, so next I am going to assemble this bow. And there are two gold foil bows that have been cut out. They are from the Cottage Wreath dies as well. They're from this die here. And what I like to do is I like to cut out two of them and just glue them together right in the center, and that way the top one can be lifted just a little bit. And so putting a mini glue dot right in the back of the middle of that. Lining those up. And there we have a dimensional bow. So this bow, another mini glue dot. Let's see. Right here. It's going to go in the center bottom. Right here. And that by us placing this first, it helps us to place our flowers so that we don't accidentally scooch those down into a place that doesn't work. So this one looks like I should have moved those. Might be too late. Nope. Needed to scooch those leaves down inside just a little bit more. There we go. Now there's going to be room. There's more border here. So this can overlap onto the card. I guess I could have put this on the card already. For that I'm using dimensionals because I'm going tone on tone, and so when I do that I like to use dimensionals so that there's lift. I really had a lot of fun making these cards. I've had some really great experiences here this month with new stampers and some longtime stampers, maybe some people that hadn't stamped in a while. I had the opportunity this last Thursday to teach card making at a church function, and one of the young ladies there had not stamped since she had stamped with her grandmother, and she had not been with her grandmother in a little over a year. And so that was kind of a tender moment, and was very glad to be a part of that with her. All right, now I can better see how much my leaves can overlap. I am going to use adhesive for this. I'm going to back up for a second. I'm going to use a dimensional on the back of this flower. And then this flower is going to come underneath my bow. About like such. Now I can better see where this one needs to be. About like such. Then I had a really sweet experience. I held an open house when we kicked off the new mini catalog at the beginning of September. And I had a first-time stamper, and she was so excited about her first card that she said she is not going to mail it out. She is going to she's going to frame it. That she enjoyed making it so much, she's going to frame it because she never wants to forget what it felt like to make it. And I thought that was so sweet. And you know, we all have had that super wonderful feeling before, haven't we? Making cards. There we go. Got it just a little bit off. So there's my flower centers. For that, I'm using the pastel adhesive backed sequins, of which I've just included enough in the kit to complete the card. Now I need to stamp my sentiment. And I am using, for this, the Brightest Glow. This was introduced last year. I love this stamp set. It's got these beautiful, beautiful sentiments on this. It's just really, really pretty. Now, this ink pad was misbehaving earlier, so let's see how it does now. It's acting dry, but it's fully inked. It's the only one I've got that's ever done this. I'm wondering if it got left a little open one time. It looks like I'm stamping upside down, and it's because I put the sticker on my stamp upside down. And I'd say it's a little bit crooked. I mean, it's not horrible. It's actually acceptable. That's acceptable. Okay. I can close up my ink for, well, actually, I'll just set that aside, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment for the inside while I have my ink out. In this sentiment, I am pulling from Very Best Occasions. And it's may your days be happy, your heart be light, your Christmas merry, and the new year bright. And I'm pulling that from Very Best Occasions. And again, I am not trying to sell all of these. I am just trying to show you the Paper Florist Dies. Use what you have on hand. Very nice. Now I can adhere this to the inside, attach my sentiment to the front, and card number 1 is done. I love the decollage dies. I just love the feeling it gives. I'm going to attach my sentiment using dimensionals. So I'm going to be doing a YouTube video on Saturday featuring the Night Divine bundle. That's new in the mini catalog. Let's see. Okay, card number 1 is done. Isn't that pretty? It turned out so easy, so sweet. And there it is with its envelope. Let's set that out of the way and bring on card number 2. Let me clean up just a little bit of my mess here. I guess when the orientation of your camera gets messed up, you just roll with it, huh? Let's see. The second card that I'm going to be doing is the Deck the Halls. This one has the most piecing to put together, but it goes fast. So let's see. Set that up there. And so I mentioned earlier that I even include pre-tied bows, and they're on a mini glue dot. There's the same pastel adhesive backed sequins. Here we are using, let's see, let me get this last set out of the way. Bring the new set in. I've got stamps already set on blocks. The last card I don't have the stamps on blocks because I ran out of blocks. Okay. So the flowers, of course, are using the Paper Florist Dies. The card front is using the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. So the musical notes, and I'll show that to you, in white. And that's why our sentiment is Deck the Halls with boughs of holly. I know, Teah, don't sing. I know, I've been told that all my life. All right, so again, 8.5, 5.5, 4.5, burnish. So let's grab that bone folder. How many people have already started their Christmas cards? Okay, so the card front, as I mentioned, is the, excuse me, let's see, do I have this going the right way? I think I have that going the right way. This is the right way. Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. I am in basic white. I am matting that with basic black. And the card base is shaded spruce. I just realized I didn't give you any of the colors on the last card. The last card was Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Basic White, Melon Mambo. Sorry about that. I obviously was very flustered by the orientation of my telephone or my camera. All right. I've seen this happen to other demonstrators, but never, doesn't make you feel any better when it happens to you, even though you know it happens to everybody at one time or another. So I'm just going to adhere my card front to my matte layer. Get that centered on there, and I will give you those dimensions in just a moment. There will be a blog post with all of the dimensions and such for anyone who wants to recreate these. I do sell these as well for $20 for the set of 3, or free with a purchase of $35. The card front is 3.5 by 5. The card base, or the matte layer, is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Yep, 3.5 by 4 3/4. The matte layer is 3 3/4 by 5. This is just going to be adhered flat to the front of that card base. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. And I think I might make a little modification to this card this time. It's really been bugging me that I didn't do it last time. So I may do that now. Okay. These, so here we have 6 leaves and we have 5 flowers. Each of the flowers has 2 big sets of petals and 1 small set of petals. So I'm just going to go ahead and sort of sort those out right now. 2 big, 1 small, 2 big, 1 small. Let's see. 2 big. I did stack them that way in the cards, but it doesn't mean that they'll be that way by the time they arrive at their destination. For everybody who has made their purchases already this month, I have already cut and packaged. Like I said earlier, this is what a thank you package looks like. And it's got all 3 kits all together. Okay. Mini glue dot time. So I'm just going to assemble all my flowers at the same time. And I'm finding that it is hard for me to see the glue dots with the ring light. So next month's kits are all going to be autumn themed. This month was Christmas themed because of the release of the new catalog, the kind of holiday catalog. And these don't have to be poinsettias. They could be an exotic flower of some sort. I just realized last month I only made you watch me assemble one of each of the flowers, and I had all the others assembled. I didn't even think about that this time. Like I said, we've had a bit of chaos going on here. Which hopefully, with the pest control guy having done his job today and leaving today, hopefully everything will be on the better swing now. And hopefully if we just don't see any more black widows, that'll just make everything better, as far as my husband and I are concerned. Last month I ran into a wolf spider. I think I mentioned that in one of my videos. I'm going to take a drink of water. And evidently, according to what I've been told and what I've read, it was more than likely a very pregnant female, including her legs. Well, so the size of her body was about that big, so a little bigger than a quarter. Excuse me. And her, including her legs, it was as big as my fist. And it was a rather startling encounter. She didn't do anything. I wasn't bit or anything like that, but she definitely let me know that she was strong. She stood like a bulldog. She used one of her legs to move a rock. Like a big rock. And so anyway, my husband and I are definitely learning the new critters in our new environment. All right, flowers are now made. We can quit talking about spiders. And ants. Okay, I am going to stamp my sentiment, Deck the Halls, on this label. This label is part of Christmas, and so is the sentiment, part of the Christmas Classics bundle. This is in the new mini catalog. And there are a couple of labels in this, in here, this square here with the beveled edges, that is in here. So that is where I'm getting this label from. Deck the Halls. I am using shaded spruce ink. Going to center that. That's rather crooked actually. I'm going to flip that over and give that another shot. Better. Still not perfect, but it's much, much better. I'm going to clean that off because I'm going to be using that block on my next stamp. And I should... So the inside of this card, I'm not putting a sentiment, but I am going to decorate with some holly and some holly berries. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. These stamps also come from that same Christmas Classics bundle. So I'm just going to put some holly in the corner. Holly in the corner. Grab my real red. And there are some little holly berries in this stamp set. There we go. I'm going to clean these off because they felt extra messy to me. All right. So I've got everything all arranged and ready to go. So what I was thinking about doing, I'm just going to lay things here for a few minutes until I figure this out for sure, but I was thinking about putting maybe one flower down here and then putting the rest up above. The reason I didn't do that before, now I'm remembering why I didn't do that before, is because I didn't want to cover up all of the musical notes. Let's just take a peek at this. No. Okay, I'm going to follow what I did before. So I'm going to adhere a leaf. Behind a flower. And I think the rest, I'm just double checking here. It looks like most of these actually, so this one up here, okay. So first of all, let's get this put in place. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with my original location. Oh, such grand ideas. You play with it though. If you received this as one of your thank yous. If you are somebody that received this as a thank you, or somebody that is just wanting to make your own, mess around with it. Turn it into what you want it to be. Okay, so I think that one was on a single layer dimensional. So I'm going to put a couple of these in place, and then I'm going to fiddle the rest into place. So this is going to go like this, and then one up here in this corner is going to have a double thickness. Let's see, I want to make sure. One of the things that I didn't like that I did before is I felt like things were too much in a straight line, and I want things to be a little bit more zigzaggy, you know, more clustery instead of straight liney. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. So then this one needs to, if the center is here and then a center is over here and then over here, that satisfies that concern for me a bit. You're getting to see my kind of crazy thought process. Let's see. I'm being careful to keep these petals from extending beyond the edge of the card, because then it won't fit in the envelope if I do that. Once I get these flowers in place, then I'll put these leaves in place. So this one is up extra high. These are both on single layers. I think this one is going to be on a single layer, and then this one is going to be up double high. Let's see. Maybe this one should sit up a little extra high height, and this one down a little bit. That's a little bit better, because you can still see all the musical notes. Okay, I'm going to do that. I like this card, but I really futzed around with it a lot when I was designing it. This particular set of flower petals are irregular in shape, which is part of my, I'm not going to say problem, because that's part of the creative challenge, right? Okay, so now before I start putting adhesive on these, I have to make sure they're actually going to fit. And flow. So like I like that. There's probably going to be two right there. I like that. I could probably get one. It's all about, oh yeah. That looks nice. I am going to do a little bit of trimming. Not much, but a little. I am not going to use, normally I like to use adhesive when I put my leaves in. I'm not going to do that this time because I'm going in and out of a bunch of leaves and I don't want to leave a trail of adhesive. Does that make sense? I hope. So there we go. And then I'm just going to double check again how exactly these fit. Yep, they fit just like that. That's nice. I think this is turning out better than my first card did. That happens sometimes. I'm going to use 2 adhesive dots on this set of leaves. There we go. I have 2 more leaves to put in, so I could put one up in here. And I don't have to use them all. And I might not. I kind of liked what that one looked like. I might just put those flower centers on and the bow and see what that looked like before I put the last leaf on. Okay. I'm going to put my sequins on. So I have 1 leaf I haven't used. That's okay. I'm using the clay end of my Take Your Pick tool to pick up these sequins off of the piece of window cling, and I'm just sticking those right in the middle of each flower. I'm liking the placement of these flowers better than my last card. Much better. And then I have a bow here that I've already got on my mini, on my mini glue dot. And I'm going to stick that right in here. I'm not sure that I need any more leaves. I'm going to use my paper trimmer, or my paper snips to trim the ends of my bow. I really love this black and white gingham ribbon, and there we go, especially with the kind of sheet music look here and trimmed in the black matte. So I love this card. Oh, I didn't put my inside in yet. And then we have the inside to adhere. You could, if you wanted to, color in your holly. I'm not going to. But if you're going to, make sure you do it before you adhere it in your card, because your Stampin' blends will bleed through. They are alcohol markers. They would bleed through both layers of your card and ruin the back of your card. So make sure to do that before you adhere. There we go. And there we go. There's our Deck the Halls card. And I think it turned out better than the first one. It looks just a little airier. Yay! All right, and on to our third card, our third and last card. Let me clean up these supplies. I hope that you're enjoying this. I am. And I think I'm keeping everything in this narrow orientation. Hope so. Trying. Okay, let's put away that. This card we are using Basic White and Night of Navy. And several things that I'm using. Okay, I guess I can open this. Several things I'm using in this card. Let's see. Using this new ribbon that's in the mini catalog. I love this ribbon. This bow ties so easily. And the name of this ribbon is, it's just called Iridescent Ribbon. It's a 1/2 inch wide. I'm using Night of Navy, Basic White, Garden Green. I'm using the Iridescent Basic Jewels for the centers of the flowers. Then I'm using, trying to separate a few things here. Sorry, I'm just running out of space. 1 second. I've got 6 of those leaves again. I just have 3 of the flowers. Okay. So I'm using the scalloped contour dies. I'm using the largest one on the front as the matte layer, and I'm using the 3rd largest as the matte layer for the inside of the card. I'm using one of the circles from the Stylish Shape dies. So the size is the 3rd to largest circle. And then I'm using the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder, and this piece is going on top of the matte layer. So this is our card front, on the front of our card, and then we build our design on top of this. So let's get started. Let's move some of these pieces aside. So our card base again is the 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is the Basic White thick cardstock. The rest of the pieces are out of the regular weight Basic White. And we are going to use our bone folder to crease our fold line. Give that a nice burnish. I am now going to take my Time Worn Type piece that's already embossed, and I'm going to adhere it to the center of the scalloped die cut. And you'll notice if you look real close, there are some words in here, so you're just going to want to make sure that you've got the orientation of your words correct going on the front of your card. Just to make sure you don't have something going out upside down. It's not necessarily any words that are going to be visible. I think the word happy is visible if you search for it. So this is Night of Navy on Night of Navy. There we go. And then I'm going to apply that to our card front using dimensionals. But before I do that, I'm going to take, there's a piece of ribbon that I've included. And we are going to slip it through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th little loop on the side here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down with using a piece of tape. Secure it. And then the other end, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on. And flatten it out. It's going to gather through the hole because the hole is a little smaller, but I mean, that's part of the charm of the look, in my opinion. So you're going to pull that taut, use another piece of tape, and secure that down. And there we have that going across. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this now. Of the 3 cards, I mean, I hate to have a favorite, but I do. This one's my favorite. I don't know if it's the glimmer or the peace on earth or the blue. I'm not normally a blue person at Christmas, but I really like this particular combination on this card. And I can stick that right down now. So I'm just centering up on my card front, making sure that's opening the right direction. That looks good. Okay. Get those dimensional backs out of the way. And I'm going to assemble 3 flowers. And these are just like the last one, 2 large backs, or 2 large and 1 small for each flower. Sorry, this screen in this orientation is making it very difficult for me to show you everything. Okay, there's 1 flower. This is the last of the 3 cards. Okay, 2 flowers. This kit has been so popular already this month. Oops. Actually, the last 3 kits have been super popular. I thank everybody so much for your support of my small business. And for being part of my crafting community. I'm so grateful to have people to craft with. There we go. All right, all 3 flowers are made. And now I am going to stick 2 leaves behind each. Oh my goodness, I have a lot of extra leaves here. What is going on? Huh, that's funny. I hope nobody's missing leaves out of their kit. That would be terrible. Now I'm gonna have to go back and check the kits. All right. Although some of them have already mailed, so there's only so much I can do about that. All right, I'm going to assemble all 3 flowers just like this with 2 leaves. And then, let's see. One more set. There we go. All right, we have 3 sets of leaves. Oh man, this is kind of disconcerting having a whole nother set of leaves here. Now, I have a circle here that I need to stamp my sentiment on. My sentiment is going to be Peace on Earth. Which I am pulling from the Christmas Classics bundle. Love stamping on a circle because you can't get it crooked. For the most part, anyway. Isn't that beautiful? Just really love that font. I'm going to close this for now. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to stamp the inside real quick. So on the inside, I have a sentiment, wishing you a season of hope and light, which I'm pulling from that Brightest Glow that I mentioned earlier. And with any luck, I'll get this straight. That was a little crooked. Let's try that again. Better, much better. How grateful are we for 2 sides to every piece of paper? Okay, so now I can tear off some of that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to its matte layer right now. And there we go. Sweet, isn't it? I'm just going to go ahead and put that right inside. So inside of the card is done, and we can finish embellishing the outside of the card. There we go. Very nice. Now I'm going to put dimensionals, 3 dimensionals on the back of Peace on Earth. So I'm putting one here, one here, one here. I'm going to straddle that ribbon. And I'm just going to leave a peak. Can you see that peak through my fingers there? I hope you can see it. Peace on Earth. Now we're going to start arranging the flowers. And when we arrange the flowers, we are going to, I believe there are dimensionals behind, yeah, there's dimensionals behind all of these. So I think there are, I'm just looking at my previous work, single layer dimensionals behind all of these. Because they're far enough apart, they don't need to like stack on top of each other, you know, overlap on top of each other. So this one is rather important. This is the one that needs to sit well next to that P and E. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one first. And then going to place, let's see, I'm going to turn this. Like such. And I'm going to curl this bottom one around a little bit. So I'm going to about like that. I'm going to go ahead and put these iridescent gems in the middle of each flower. We're almost done. And then we have the bow already tied in your kit. That's going to get positioned on the edge of the circle, not covering up the sentiment. Just like that. And if you feel like if you feel like my brain is going blank. If you feel like the tie ends are too long, go ahead and trim them. But my friends, our third card is finished. And here we are. So here we are, we have completed all 3 cards. And this, which of course you can't see because of the orientation of my camera. So let's see, if I do it like this, can you see it? Kind of, sort of. My apologies, everybody. So here was card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, be well. Big hugs. Bye.